Hello and welcome to Beyond the Ball. I am your host, Paddy, Big Paddy, because Collie has decided to not do this anymore because Chelsea lost again. No, he's gone away on his holidays, but in a week where Sheffield United ate to talk about anything to do with football, I'm joined by Connor. Hey, Connor.
You've been sitting on that all fucking day as well, haven't
I'll
you?
tell you what, I've been waiting for this. I'm going to ruin this podcast while Collie's away.
Drive it to the ground. Let's go.
Yeah. So totally revolutionizing the podcast this week. And when I say revolutionize, I just mean going back to last year's format. So we're going to have one episode this week. We're going to jump straight into the review. Then we're going to do some fantasy football, and then we're going to go and review this weekend's fixtures coming up. And one I'm really excited about because I'm actually going over to see United this weekend. So yeah, should be good. Should have loads of shit to talk about. And next week I'll be super excited when I come back if we win.
You're not coming back if they don't.
Yeah. How's things with you? All right, Connor?
All good, man. All good.
Yeah. Out playing football tonight. True football, man.
True football, man. Exactly. Liverpool are flying. I'm loving football again at the moment.
Excellent. Right, let's do this. I've looked for my Collie's stupid review things. Okay, so an exciting week of football starts off with Palace 0, Fulham 0. I don't have much to say on this. Just sort of a bit of a bore draw. Not really a shock, is there, Connor?
The shock was I checked the highlights of all the games on Saturday night, and there was about 40 seconds worth of highlights of this, and there was like 4 minutes for all the other games. So yeah, no. I don't think either team have a lot of firepower, so yeah, it makes sense.
As expected, they'll be in the relegation battle this season. Okay, moving right on. Luton get a point against a poor Wolves side. So again, another pretty boring match. Did you watch this or anything to say about it? Did you watch their stadium? Exciting stuff.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? I can't wait to see them out of the fucking league. Wolves down to Wolves into 10 men for like 60 or 70 minutes of the game, and Luton still couldn't put them to bed. It's stinking. Luton can't stay up. Like Wolves will be down thereabouts as well. I can't really see them putting up too much of a fight either. So yeah, another just poxy game.
Yeah. And depending on the camera angle, sometimes you can see into somebody's back garden and a pair of granny's knickers drying on the line or something. So that always adds to the Premier League magic. The greatest show on earth, as they say on Sky Sports.
They shouldn't be in the League of Ireland. Just take them out of the fucking league, like.
Oh, it's ridiculous how that even happens. I don't know. They won't be here for long, and anyway, they'll be gone pretty soon. Big shock for the weekend. Man City 2, Notts Forest 0. When I say a shock, absolutely not a shock, but a sending off that was maybe a bit shocking. What did you think of
it? Stupid. It's like 2-0 up at home, cruising. Second half just starts. Yeah. Best player probably in City's team for the last. Well, apart from like Haaland doesn't count, but like Rodri, best player in that City squad for the last 6 months, 8 months, and he just goes and Morgan Gibbs White had him wound up straight away. Couldn't believe it. Did you see Pep's interview afterwards?
No, what was he saying?
Pep came out and fucking slated Rodri, saying it was one of the most idiotic things he's ever seen. 3 days on from Guardiola saying that Rodri was the best midfielder he's ever seen play the game. And he was asked, is he still the best midfielder you've ever seen? He's like, yes, but not today.
I love it.
He's going to miss Arsenal. He's going to miss Arsenal. That's huge.
Yes, massive game. It's a 3-game ban, isn't it? Because of violent conduct.
Violent conduct be 3 games minimum. Yeah. So the maximum, they won't go any further than that.
Good enough for him. Look, they set the precedence last season. As I was just about to say there, it was a similar one with Casemiro. They would have got away with it years ago, but not anymore. You just can't put your hands on anybody. But yeah, the good old reliable Haaland scores again. Will he hit the 50 mark this season, do you think?
He'll get close to it. He'll get very close to it. We just can't see a game going by. Big shout out as well, actually, to Phil Foden coming in the start and scored an absolute peach. was probably a second touch of the game. It was an absolute worldie for a fella who hasn't been really getting a run or getting a start, just to come straight in. You have to be feeling for like Jack Grealish, who's been dropped now with Foden score, and they bought your man Doku, who looks handy. Alvarez is playing well. Just can't see Grealish getting back in now.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like when you're winning like that, you could nearly buy anybody and stick them in. Well, not really buy anybody, but anybody with a half bit of talent, they're going to fit into that side and just, they carry it. But this goal as well, Foden's goal, was nearly the record for the amount of passes before a goal. Something like 47 passes or something like that.
Which is a sweet finish as well.
Pep is just a genius. But enough of Man City lauding more praise on them. Nobody's going to stop them, I don't think. But moving on, Everton, 3 points, 3 goals against a strong Brentford side who have been doing pretty well this season. Surprising result.
Can't believe it.
Yeah.
I'm even looking at it and like, where Everton going to get goals from? One came from a centre half. The other was assisted by a centre half. And then their striker, who's been out injured for like the last year, pretty much he's back.
It's massive. They keep him fit. Massive.
They say he's in bubble wrap and in those hyperbaric chambers and all, like for 6 days a week, and just roll him out there on a Saturday or Sunday.
It's not even him, it's clone.
It's a clone, yeah. Keep on lockdown until then. But yeah, Sean Dyche getting a result now. Digging one out. He needs to fucking.
And we'll be talking about the next game, which is against Luton, which could they get 2 on the bounce?
And the following week, then they have Liverpool. So if they go in on a run of good form to a Merseyside derby, that those games are always tight regardless of former teams, and you're on the bounce of 2 wins and the potential upset in the Merseyside derby. So things looking up for Sean Dyche. Did you see any of this game yourself, Paddy?
No, I didn't watch the game. I didn't see much football this weekend because it was my son's birthday. So I was coaching his team. His team won, which was great. He was a resolute defence. But in terms of Everton, when I seen this score coming up, I had Ashley Young in my fantasy football. Still didn't get me any points. 1 point. So that's the only reason I looked at it. But I was surprised about the result. But moving away from that, we get to talk about my favourite team.
Here we go.
Manchester United against Burnley, and a goal reminiscent to Van Persie's when Rooney popped it into him. But for a Johnny Evans to set him up, when I seen that starting lineup, I just thought, oh my God, it looks like a Carabao Cup toy, and he's putting out the second string. But they worked hard and they've done the job.
I didn't see too much of it myself, but from what I could see, I don't think United get away with that against any other team in the league, except maybe Luton or Sheffield United at the moment, and Burnley. It's
aside, yeah.
They gave up most of the ball to Burnley. Burnley had plenty of chances, and where the injuries fell, that was a nice fixture to roll into on the back of like a decent performance in Munich during the week, I would say. Probably get your opinion on that actually as well. I say that we haven't spoken since.
True.
Munich and getting a good, not a good result, but a fighting performance to score 3 goals and they still not get any points. What's your opinion on that one as well?
Yeah, I watched the game and it was a really enjoyable game as a supporter. So when you watch a game and you lose and you still enjoy the game, there wasn't much in it. Like the penalty that was given away, which I can't really complain about because we got one in the FA Cup final against Man City last year for Grealish for the handball. So I can't really complain too much, even though I do think it was soft. The Onana blunder was disgraceful. He's just having such a terrible start. But looking at his last season at Inter Milan, he had the Italians are renowned for having great defenses in front of him. So I think if United can get some consistency in defence, it will take a lot of the load from him, and maybe he can just gain a bit more confidence. He seems like a confident guy, but looks coming into a club like Manchester United, supposedly the biggest league in the world, the spotlight's on you, and it's going to affect anybody. So we'll wait and see how it goes. But a good performance against a Bayern Munich side, where that's probably going to be the hardest game in the group. So we've 4 or 5 games now left to pick up, 10, 11 points, the 10, 11 points that you need to get through. So, yeah, definitely doable. What did you think about it yourself?
Pleasantly surprised from a United point of view. Not pleasantly. It's not pleasant that they played well. Let's be real here, but like surprised that they put it up to them. Disappointed with the resolve in Munich a little bit. I think they were disappointed themselves. And that's why they went out and they fucking smashed 8 past Bochum on Saturday.
Yeah.
So probably maybe they felt it themselves as well, giving up 3 goals at home. But that's what I'm saying. It's wild. You had it said to you or to Ten Hag, you're going to go to the Allianz Arena and you're going to score 3 goals. You're like 3 points. Yeah. Happy days.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Not thinking that they're going to come back with 4, but look, it's in the right direction. I think a performance against Munich in a game that United were expecting to be spanked in, and then a win against Burnley. 3 points is 3 points at the end of the day. Set you up for a nice run of fixtures in general over the next kind of couple of weeks, and a couple of nice European games as well at home. Obviously, with some of the little
Palace now in the Carabao Cup tomorrow, and then Palace the weekend. I want to ask your opinion as an outsider. What do you think of the Sancho situation? Because me personally, from a club's point of view, look, he's another Jesse Lingard now, to be quite honest with you. It's he hasn't got the right mindset. All he needs to do is come in and apologise, and he's refusing to. What way would you take that if he was in your club?
I think football's gone a little mad at the moment with players thinking they can run things. I don't think that's something like that doesn't happen in a Mourinho team, in a Klopp team, in a Pep team, in a Fergie team. It's almost like it's the new guy comes in and he probably thinks he can speak his mind because Ten Hag is probably under, I'm not going to say he's under pressure from the fans, but he's under pressure from the media with the way the results are going. Everything going on in the club already in the background. So maybe he's thinking he can get away with something. So it's like I'd be doing the same thing. He apologizes or he rots somewhere else. And it's not like he's been 10 out of 10 every week putting in performances or effort. So like he's only a loss because Anthony has his bits going on. Greenwood had his bits going on his left, and then obviously with the injuries, that's the only reason why it's going back to what do we do with him, because it is getting tight for positions.
And it gets to the stage then as well that the longer he leaves it, the more the fans are going to kind of dislike him. So even when he comes back, then it's nearly like, get him out the door, use him for a couple of games if we can, and then just get him out, get the money for him. Although again, it's going to be another story with United that who's going to be willing to pay his wages that he's getting at United. So he'll be stuck on the books, another one of them, which they're renowned for this, overpaying for what might be some good talent. But look, let's forget about Sancho. One last point.
He doesn't seem to be one of these players who just wants to play football. He's in it for he looks to me, looking from the outside, even at Dortmund, he was there for the lifestyle of a young fella playing football, as opposed to I want to go and play football week in, week out. Even
as I thought, because the standard isn't as good over there, do you think?
I don't know. Like, I'm even shocked with the big money move to United. I thought he was going to have another year in Germany, whether that would be a move to Munich or at Dortmund before making that move back across. But just like even when he plays, it doesn't seem like he wants the ball. It doesn't seem like he wants to put effort in when he plays. He pisses and moans when he's not playing. He's not a good. It doesn't look like a good person to have around the training ground in general.
Yeah. Okay, well, look, I'll move on from United. We'll talk a bit more about them when we're.
The last thing, what about Rashford hitting the post?
Rashford, to me, to be quite honest with you, has been extremely disappointing this season.
No, when he hit the post after the game in his Rolls Royce.
He hit the post with his Rolls Royce. I was trying to think when he hit the post during the game, and I was like, I can't remember him hitting the post, but yeah, I know. Yeah, well, he was unhurt. Just another negative story to come out of Manchester United. If he knew how to be a little bit less selfish, I think Hyland would already have 3 or 4 goals. came in because his movement is very good for
Yeah.
a 20-year-old. He looks like he knows what he's doing in terms of that position. But if he just needs the supply now. And there's been a couple of times where Rashford, a simple ball in, and he would have been able to finish it off, but he's been a little bit selfish, which I suppose, look, top scorer last season, 30 goals. He wants to continue in that form, but during the Ferguson era, Rooney, Tevez, Ronaldo, well, not Ronaldo, but Rooney, Tevez, unselfish, and look, the team benefited at the end of the day because you're winning trophies then.
That's a nice backtrack. Ronaldo, not Ronaldo.
Yeah, not Ronaldo, no way. Actually, yeah, he's the most selfish fucker in the world. Right, let's move on to Sunday now, and a great game to start off with was the Arsenal and Spurs 2-2. Son really finding his shooting boots now. 2 more goals for him. Own goal for Arsenal, and Saka gets a goal. Well, they've both took this result before the game starts, or do you think Arsenal are disappointed?
It's probably a game where, yeah, a draw is not the worst result for either of them, really. Spurs definitely be the happier out of the two, especially coming back from behind twice to get something away from home. But like, it's not a make or break. Neither of them got beaten. They both march on. Arsenal obviously have a tough run of fixtures now. Spurs will eventually, in 2 weeks' time, I think, when they roll into Liverpool and then roll on to West Ham, I think, then afterwards. So they'll run into a tough run of fixtures. So the points on the board at this stage. If you would have said that game 6 months ago, Spurs would have got blown out of the water. But obviously, Big Ange, manager of the month, has come in, steadied the ship, got them playing some nice football. And then, Son taken up from kind of where Harry Kane had left off.
Big boots to fill.
Liverpool played at the same time, Paddy. So anything else to add to this? Did you see any of it? Any standout performances?
For me, no, I just found it quite funny that James Maddison afterwards was talking about, I think Saka does the darts celebration, and he was saying, oh, well, he must have been doing that when I turned him to get the second assist for Son's goal, which I loved.
He's a bit of banter in front of the camera, actually. There's been a couple of times he's been up this season so far.
Great signing, absolutely wonderful signing. And looking at, say, the likes of him coming in and Tonelli and Newcastle, was about around the 50 million mark, maybe less for Maddison. And then you see Casado on that for 100 million, Rice for 100 million. Like, are the defensive players becoming more expensive now than the attacking players? It's a strange world we're living in at the moment.
There's no good sixes floating around. I think that's the issue. They're in such short supply that
true.
everyone wants a six now. Everyone wants a Rodri. Everyone wants a Casemiro 4 years ago. Do you know, like everyone wants put that in there.
Not Granny Casemiro. No.
Everybody wants a player like that now to let their forward players go and play, and it just doesn't seem to be a lot of them floating around. Liverpool still probably missing a six, you know, at this stage. But yeah, it's mad money, and especially how we'll crack on to Chelsea here now in a second. But fucking Casino.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Well, they only conceded one, so they're not doing too bad defensively. Right, nothing else to add for the Spurs and Arsenal. Points shared, but again, can anybody afford to drop points with City just on a relentless winning streak? Brighton and Bournemouth 3-1. Brighton unreal. They might have slipped up after a surprise result during the week in Europe. Not the performance they've been given in the Premier League, but to bounce back here like this, to be in the Champions League spots still, scoring freely. Matoma, what a player. I didn't get to see the game, but not a bit surprised with the result.
No, it was they were being bashed in the first half. They were absolutely backs to the wall at home to Bournemouth, and it just looked like it was going to be a continuation from what happened to them in Europe during the week. And in fairness to De Zerbi, he made changes at halftime, took off Evan Ferguson, who didn't look very sharp in the first half, took off Buonanotte as well. Brought on Matoma and brought on Ansu Fati. And within fucking, what was it, 4 minutes, Ansu Fati had changed the game, and then Matoma went on to do his bits then afterwards. But what a fucking signing he might be if he hits the peaks that he can hit. And you have Matoma on one wing and you have Ansu Fati on the other, and you have João Pedro or Evan Ferguson through the middle. That's frightening.
Look, this next summer, then Ferguson will be gone, Matoma will be gone, but they'll have an extra 200 million in the bank. But it's a similar kind of situation to what Southampton was a couple of years ago. They were nearly like a feeder club for all the bigger clubs. They'd get a player in, develop them, sell them on for big money. There's only so long you can do that for, though, before it just all fails and you end up going down, but going down very, very rich. The manager seems to be really, really, really good. So let's hope he gets to hold on to the players and the team, because if they continue in this form, I'm not going to say Champions League because I don't think they'll get that, but definitely Europa League.
I mean, that's all they probably want is top 10. I'd say that's probably the goal or the ambition for someone like Brighton at the moment. But like, apart from they've had one or two slip ups already so far this season, but in all the other games, like as I said, they didn't look comfortable for 45 minutes, made changes, and all of a sudden they're like a brand new team.
Yeah. No, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Some great signings in the summer. Okay, I wish I had a laughing meme here or something to Chelsea losing again, not scoring again. Absolutely shocking. Considering the amount of money they've spent. Aston Villa, again, it's not as if Aston Villa have been this great force that we thought they were going to be before the season started, considering how well they done last season in terms of performances. Chelsea at home. Collie texts during the week saying that he doesn't think Poch can handle it. He did in jest say he'd like to see Potter back, but again, that was in jest. But, do you think it's a Poch thing, or do you think it's just the American owners have signed so much and done so many changes into the club? It's very hard to manage. It's very hard to get a team together.
I've seen some reaction from Chelsea fans on TikTok after this game. A great place for it. And there's a lot of people not backing Pochettino purely for the fact that he doesn't win anything. He won a French league with PSG, won. Also lost one with PSG and didn't win one. I don't know how you can do that with Neymar, Mbappe, etc. in the team. Didn't win anything with Spurs. He's not a serial winner. And is it who you want to be falling back on if your goal is to win something? Which, after spending over £1 billion in the last 12 months, I'm sure that's the objective for someone like Chelsea. Also, Collie was going ballistic over the red card in this game. It's a fucking stonewall red card.
Yeah,
it's an absolute leg breaker, ankle breaker. So you got to question some of the changes that he made afterwards. As soon as they got the red card, he took off Mudryk and brought on Chilwell. He took off Jackson. So he brought on defensive-minded players to hold and nil all, and then they concede.
It's not very easy though. But look, all the Chelsea fans, I'm sure, would have been happy to see Poch in, and I wasn't anyway. I thought it was a good appointment because I did rate him as a coach. I'm looking at this now as just a bit of a mess of a club. But like, other than Pep, probably, or Klopp, like who else could come in there and do a proper job? Like, that's willing to give up the power, because it seems to be that Bowley wants to, have a say in the team, the signings, how they play, probably. So it's a mess. It's an absolute mess, and I love it.
I'd love to have the money to play like real life Football Manager. That's
great. Yeah, it's mad. Oh, it's absolutely crazy. Players they have, like, they've been unbelievable. Like, on paper, they should be winning the league, Champions League, or challenging for them every season now with that squad.
I wouldn't even put it down on paper, but the amount they've spent, like, I wouldn't exactly say Leslie Ukalulu, who cost 72 million quid, is a world beater, but you certainly can spend your 72 million quid on tried and tested player somewhere in Europe, you know.
Yeah. Okay, good point.
But like I can't see them putting out a stronger team, barring Reece James being injured, and Badiashile being injured, than what they put out. You know, like it's as strong as it gets. They're strengthening the areas where Cully said they were weak. Their goalkeeper, they got in a quality goalkeeper, I think, and Robert Sanchez. They've brought in Moses Caicedo, as he talked about, for 115 million. Like Enzo Fernandez, 100 million. Mudryk, 100 million. Nicholas Jackson, 70 million. Like
Mudryk was 100 million. Oh, jeez, that hurts.
I don't know. I think he was 80 or 100.
No.
It's
Yeah, no, I know.
stupid money.
I mean, Jesus Christ, he's been so bad. Oh my God. But
Like,
look, yeah, I don't. It's you can't look at that game and even say, okay, well, they were unlucky. Things look like they could still get a good performance. I just don't see where they're going to get a performance from this Chelsea side. They just look so poor. I hope Chelsea. I hope Collie's going to enjoy listening to this on his holidays. We won't waste any more time until we get to the predictions on Chelsea now. So let's move to your favorite team, Liverpool. I have to say, it looked like for a while West Ham might get some sort of result, but again, Liverpool just went up a gear and blew them away. I have to say, last season obviously was an anomaly of a season for Liverpool, but Klopp's Liverpool team seemed to be somewhat back in terms of just being able to grind out these results whenever they need them. Spurs this weekend, but you must be really happy with this result because West Ham have done well this season so far.
Liverpool 2.0 is kind of what they're calling it. The big fear is we've conceded first again, which has been the same way for like the last 4 games, I think, including against Lask during the week, in Europe. So that's a concern because you can't turn every team around from 1 goal behind. You concede early against City, Spurs, Arsenal. You're probably not coming back as comfortably.
Off the counter when you're going forward.
Or you'll get picked off. I'm still not convinced about that. The midfield either. There's no 6 to cover. But fuck me, some of the football they're playing going forward
that's frightening, isn't it?
It's sensational. It's better than that first Klopp team. Some of the football going forward. Slabozoi is setting himself up for a player of the year at the end of the year if he keeps up his performances so far. He looks like he's been at Liverpool for 5 years, the way he's playing, not like 5 games. Darwin Núñez starting to find a little bit of form, not scoring week in, week out, but pulling weight about and getting assists. And Mo Salah looks as good as he's ever looked. And I think that if you're looking for someone who's been consistent in the Premiership for the last 4 or 5 years, he's the most consistent player that's been. He's just every week he shows up. He had last year he went 4 games without scoring, and everyone said he had lost it. But there he is again, popping up with a goal, popping up with assist against, as you said, a solid West Ham team who will cause a lot of issues to a lot of teams because they're so physical, in their face, high press. They're everything probably David Moyes wants from them, and they got turned over in the second half.
People talk about, all the signings over the summer, and I think one of the best pieces of business Liverpool probably done was holding on to Salah, considering the amount of money that was being offered to them, that to get rid of him because he is the talisman of Liverpool. I think he goes and you don't do nearly as well. He raises the performances of everyone around him as well. He's that good. So you must be so happy to have not seen him go. And do you think this will be the last season you get from him?
It could be.
Yeah.
Probably could be. I think it's a different conversation if that offer comes in May or June instead of the last day of August. It might be a different conversation that's had within Liverpool about do we get rid of him for the 175 or 200 million. I still think an offer like that is still there next summer anyway because he's the biggest Muslim star in world football. So he's the poster boy for the Saudi League, let's be real. So I still think there's going to be a big offer there from the Saudis or from Qatar. I I wouldn't like it to see, and if it is his last season, I want to see him going out winning something. But it seems like every summer, every January, Mo Salah's leaving Liverpool. And that's happened for like the last 4 years, whether it's PSG, Real Madrid, Saudi Arabia. And he hasn't yet, so I don't know.
Yeah, and Klopp as well, nailing his flag to the mast in terms of saying he doesn't want to go to Germany. He's committed to Liverpool. Great news as well as a Liverpool fan, because you see Pep leaving City, you see Klopp leaving Liverpool, and you see them taking a long time for them to get back to anywhere close to the levels that they had them at. So Klopp, no sign of him leaving any time in the near future, which is great news for you.
Yeah, Julian Nagelsmann will go in now to the German job, which will keep Klopp closed down for probably 3 years anyway, by the time we get around to the next World Cup. So there's kind of 3 years where he's not going to get an international shoe, which is nice. He also was in controversy during the week because he doesn't do autographs. I don't know if you've seen this. No. He doesn't sign autographs for anybody. So some ma complained on Facebook that Jurgen Klopp wouldn't sign her son's jersey. And he was asked about it at his press conference before the game. And he's just like, this is ridiculous. He's just like, if I sign one, then 99 others are disappointed. I'd rather everyone be equally disappointed. This is how life works. You have to go with disappointment in life. That's the way it's going to be.
Oh, well, yeah. A bit of a dick, though. This is a bit of a dick move. You should sign a couple of autographs.
Fuck them. Imagine going in to play West Ham, probably the biggest game so far this season at home, and being asked not about the fucking
I know,
team you're
that's crazy, isn't it?
Who you're playing against or whatever.
They're just looking for a headline.
Sign autographs.
Yeah. Next it'll be hits grannies and told her he's not giving autographs.
I'd still back him. We'll still back him.
Yeah, fucking right. I would as well. That's what Ferguson could have done that, and Ferguson could have been like the Antichrist, and I would have still loved him. Well, moving on to the last game of the weekend. What a result. Newcastle 8, Sheffield United 0, and 8 different scorers.
Of course.
Which is like, wow. Like, talk about a great team performance. And anybody that had a Newcastle player in their fantasy football got a couple of points as well. So everyone leaves the weekend happy except Sheffield United fans. What happened here?
I went out to the pub yesterday for food, and there was like a screen in the top corner, and every time I looked up, there were celebrations. So it was just like, they're showing that goal over and over again. What's going on? Like, and I was just like, oh, that's 4-0. Oh, that's 5. And I just kept going. It was just out of control. So I didn't get in and watch the game all in, but like, it's a home as well in Sheffield United after Paul Higginbottom had a tear up in his press conference after the game last week because of the referee, the standard of officiating. It's not good enough. That's the reason why we got beaten last week. To then go and show up like that. Wild.
That's crazy. Yeah. I know. But great result for Newcastle. Again, staking their claim to possible Champions League football this season. I didn't think they'd do it again this season at the start of it, but they're getting a couple of really good results, and they seem to again have a really great team performance. So that's all our review done for this week. Let's move on to our fantasy football. Okay, I'm going to share my screen now and we'll get our league up. We won't take too long on this because we have our predictions to do as well. So our Beyond the Ball, I'm still second. 70 this week for me. Let's look at Collie's team first. 60 points. So the average 68, so a bit below average. So I'm sure he's happy about that as well.
Fucking gusto.
Oh no, yeah, it's great. And look, and he's still and Chilwell and Nicholas Jackson. He loves all his Chelsea players, and they're just not delivering from. And I love that. I absolutely love it. So Chilwell 0 points. So let's say Leno 10 points. Great return there. Chilwell 0, Gusto -2, Akanji 5. I'm not gonna try and pronounce that. Yeah, that's it. 6 points for him. Mbuemo 1. Matoma 14. Rashford 3. Again, disappointing from Rashford. Salah 10. Sorry, Miss Jackson. You only got 1. and Haaland as his captain gets him 12. How are we doing on the bench? No one really that would have come in and made too much of a difference. So
They all
Connie's,
would have made a difference if they had got me to the -2.
yeah, the minus two, yeah. Okay, let's have a look at mine. Pope, solid performance, 70 points. Yeah, I was very happy with that. And to be honest, I wasn't paying too much attention over the weekend. So once that it was over, I was very happy to see that. So Saiba, 2 goals conceded against Spurs, wasn't great. White as well. Botman for Newcastle gets an assist as a defender, so I was delighted with that. Matoma consistently delivering points. Rashford thinking very strongly about taking him out of team, but then I'm thinking about Crystal Palace this weekend in Old Trafford. So I'll give him one more week, and if he doesn't pull up his socks, he's gone. Saka, 13 points. Diaz as well, another player I'm thinking about shipping because although he's probably as a team performance he's doing well, but he's just not delivering on the points in this fantasy football. So got Ferguson back in after his hat-trick. He brings back 1 point for me. If I get
Take
rid
it
of
off
him,
after him.
yeah, and I know if I get rid of him again, he'll come back and he'll score another hat-trick. So I'll keep him there all season, and that's what will lose me the Premier League or the fantasy football league this season. Hoyland, 2 points, but he is definitely staying in there because when he clicks, I can see him getting a few points for me. And then Haaland as my captain, 12 points, a goal, just guaranteed a few points there. So Mudryk, 3 points, Gusto -2, and Young 1. So kind of good decisions there for the bench. And we can move on to Connor, your team, Gangsters Allardyce. I love it.
I've not even seen this
Type
yet. I
me
haven't
through
even
it.
looked at it. Yeah, 59 points, so not a great return. Martinez in goal got me 6. Estupiñán got me 6 with an assist as well. Saliba struggled with just a 1. And Diassi got me 2. Eze with 3 points in a midfield. Saka with 13 with a nice goal again. Salah with 10. Diaby with 3. And Mbeumo with 1. Did nothing except get booked. Edward up top with 2 points, and Haaland got me 12 as my captain. I don't think I had too much on the bench really left behind, to be fair.
Are you looking at taking anybody out? I won't ask you who you're looking to bring in because obviously we don't want to be getting robbing your trade secrets, but anybody you're looking to take out?
I'd probably look at Diassi. I don't know how much clean sheets Chelsea are going to keep. And I'd probably look at bringing in... See, I hate picking City players because I never know who he's going to play.
Yeah.
But it seems like he has a set 5 now that he's playing at the back. So I'll probably bring one of them in to fill in, knowing that City are probably going to go on a run a clean sheet.
Kyle Walker's a decent bet there, isn't he? Let's have a look at the top of the Beyond the Ball podcast league. Who have we got? Haven't Jota Clue on top with 431 points, which is quite the return. In second place, nearly 30 points behind, Fark Attack. Okay, very good. Just behind him, Keane as Mustard. So there's our top 3. I'm not going to spend too much time there.
106 points for the week, though, for Kieran Styles.
106, wow. Actually, let's have a quick look at that team. Haaland, Watkins, Matoma, Saka, Trippier, Botman. So you can see where he got. Oh, Nana got him 7 points.
7 points.
What's his name? Oh, Nana.
Fucking
World beater. World beater.
I didn't even get 7 points for his name in Scrabble.
Oh, very good. Very good. Okay. Let's move on to our previews for this week. I kind of get now why Collie does get flustered and messes his words around sometimes because it's very complicated when you're trying to do the production and talk about the football games as well. I'm sweating here, absolutely sweating. So, Collie, I respect what you do.
Come back, please.
Yeah. We may not have a show next week. Okay, so let's look towards this weekend. The majority of the games are on Saturday, one game on Sunday and one game on Monday. So let's go to our first game, which is Aston Villa against Brighton, a tasty one. Oh, and Aston Villa. Aston Villa versus Brighton. Oh, come back, Holly. We miss you. Tasty game for Aston Villa against Brighton. Villa with a good result the weekend, and also Brighton. Cancel each other out, or do you think it'll be a high scoring game?
I'm kind of leaning on the cancel each other outside, not going to lie. I'm thinking score draw here, to be fair. Aston Villa's win against Chelsea is kind of sums up where they've been this season, trying to keep teams to low scoring figures, but not scoring a hell of a lot themselves. Brighton kind of the opposite way. They're either scoring loads themselves or they're conceding bucket loads of goals. I will go 1-1, and we will go with the goal scorer of Ollie Watkins.
Fair enough. I think I'm going to go for a high scoring game here because I think Villa really need to do some. Aston Villa really need to do some catching up on the rest of the teams, like the Brightons, because I think coming into this season, I would have seen Aston Villa to be up there with Brighton in terms of the ability or the what we expected of them this season. So, high scoring game, but I do think Brighton will edge it, and I'm going to go for 3-2 and Ferguson to score first, 3-2 to Brighton. So that's mine. So.
He's staying in the fantasy football team, so.
Huh? Oh yeah, he's staying. Oh yeah, absolutely. He's not coming out for the season. He's going to get another hat trick at some stage. Well, he better. Okay, Arsenal and Bournemouth. How do you think this will go?
Bournemouth to do what they've seemed to have been doing for the last while, which is get out of the gates early, score early, and then bend over come 35, 40 minutes. Comfortable one, I think, for Arsenal. I'm going to say 4-1, and I'm going to go with Starboy. We'll go Bukayo Saka again.
Yeah, it's similar. Don't see Bournemouth doing much here. Going to go for actually a clean sheet for Arsenal as well, considering they let the 2 goals in against Spurs. So I think the defence wants to get another clean sheet down. I'm going to go for 3-0 to Arsenal, and I'm going to go for Odegaard to score. Gets his new contract, highest paid player at the club. Yeah, so that's how I see that one going.
Who do you think they play in goal? Who starts? Raya, or do they bring
Raya? Because I've seen there was some sort of fan backlash against a video to do with the other. What's the other goalkeeper's name? Something happened. Ramsdale. Yeah. I don't know what happened, but I just seen he was throwing a tantrum of training or something like that.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
No, that could I want to play, and I want to play now.
Yeah. It's a tough situation though when you have like 2 number ones. I know, look, people say, "Oh, competition is great" and the likes, but again, do you want someone that's really talented being unhappy? You know, usually with a backup goalkeeper, he's happy to just sit on the bench and, warm the seat, wash the gloves or whatever. But you as a goalkeeper, what do you think of the situation?
It's impossible to keep 2 who want to play happy. It's not, as you said, it's not a thing that can be done. It's not like a centre forward where you can bring them on for like the last 30 or 40 minutes. You can't make that substitution. You have to leave somebody in goal unless something drastic happens. So they can't make those changes. They do have, they're in Champions League. I'm sure they're going to get cup runs as well. There's probably a lot of football to be played. So if it comes down to a case of where they do like a Alisson Kelleher balance, where all the cup games are his and all the league games are his, but I still don't think Aaron Ramsdale, who was looking to be England's number 1, is going to be happy with just playing in cups. So it'd be interesting to see what happens.
Will he be gone this summer if he's not getting forced in football?
Well, Reyes is a loan move with an option to buy next summer, so it depends on how that balances out. Whether to send them back to Brentford or not, I don't know. or if they actually go and buy him. I'm sure that will be dictated by whatever Ramsdale wants to do as well. If he wants to leave, they'll obviously go out and buy him to keep Raya. Or I'm sure they'll be able to weigh it up come next June.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on. Everton Luton, quick one here. How do you see this going?
See me being asleep for this one. 2-0 Everton, Decore. That's
2-1 to Everton and Calvert-Lewin score. That's what we'll go.
That's all that game deserves.
Yeah, moving on.
So does this
everybody keep an eye out. I'll be in the Stratford end. Myself and my son and my father.
With your Norwich scarves.
My half and half, yeah, my half and half scarf.
The Norwich scarf,
yeah, green and gold, yeah. No, we're winning again now, so it's not the owner's fault. The owners aren't too bad now because we're winning. Yeah, so I'll let you go first. What do you think here?
Palace not scoring doesn't really help. Yeah, we'll go United 2-0. I think it's going to be a close 2-0. It'll be a 1-0 for a lot of it, and then United will score late on. And I'm going to back the big lanky fella up top, Ireland, to score.
Look, it's too early to say, but the signs are good from him. Have you seen much of him?
All I've seen him is put the ball in the net and not be allowed.
Yeah. We'll take that. Yeah. No, but his movement is good. Look, you probably you'll never say that because
eventually he'll be as refined as Darwin Núñez, but until then,
I can see him more at the ilk of Ruud van Nistelrooy.
More of a leg horse at the moment.
Yeah, the Austrian sausage. No, I think this week for United, we're going to have a lot of injured players returning. Varane got a few minutes against Burnley. He'll be back. Martinez should be back. Mount will be back in. Arambat will be back, which means we'll have plenty of legs in midfield, which is why people have been cutting through us all season. Look, I don't want Mount to be up there scoring goals, creating assists all the time. Like, to have his legs to break up the play.
That's good, because he won't be doing that.
I know. I want them breaking up the play, giving it to someone like Arambat or Casemiro or Eriksen or Bruno, whoever's in there with him, who can then create the chances. There's been talk with Anthony being out and nobody really available on the right that Mount could play there, but I thought Pellistri done a really good job against Bayern Munich. But again, as I said, all these players I'm naming all coming back from injury, thankfully, because we've been hammered the last couple of weeks, and then we've got the gobshites as well, Sancho and Anthony, with their shenanigans. So I'm going to go for United victory. I'm going to go, because I'm going to be there, I'm going to say 5-0, because that's what I hope it's going to be, and it's going to be a Highland hat-trick. Come on.
Next week is going to be so fucking tasty if they don't win this game. Oh my God, I'm dreaming of it. I'm drooling over it.
You're hosting next week if United lose, I swear to God.
I'll be hearing my own loud of gargle locked.
Oh, right, moving on. Did we get a score prediction from you? I did for this 2-0. 2-0, that's right.
2, yeah.
Newcastle Burnley. How do you see this one going?
How did Newcastle get all the newly promoted teams back to back? That's fucking ridiculous. The same thing that happened the weekend. We'll go 3-0 Newcastle. And I'll back Ellen DeGeneres to score after his goal the other day. Anthony Gordon.
Ellen DeGeneres, I love it.
Spits, actually. Spits.
Yeah.
Little knacker he is, yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't see Burnley with any hope here. St. James's Park, Newcastle win and Isaac to score. So the score will be 3-0. Moving on. West Ham, Sheffield United. West Ham looking to get back to winning ways after the Liverpool result, and Sheffield United, Jesus, will want any sort of result here after the Newcastle defeat. I'll just give a quick one here. I think it's going to be West Ham 2-1 and Antonio to score.
Yeah, not too dissimilar. I'm going to say West Ham 2-0, just because I can't see where Sheffield United get goals from. And he was fucking frightening at the weekend. Jared Bowen was absolutely electric at the weekend, so I'm going to back him to continue a good run of form.
Good man. Wolves City, look, just give it. Let's just get this one over with quickly because there's not even point talking about it really.
I think I'm going to do City to win.
Wow.
Yeah, there's something telling me that I think they might do something here. Yeah,
Next should be saying Haaland's going to score and really surprise me.
And no, I'm going to say I'd love to see Matthias Nunes score against his old club like 3 weeks later. But I'm going to back Phil Foden to follow up his good run of form. City, I'm going to say they're going to concede. I'm going to say 3-1.
Right. City 2-0 and Haaland to score because, yeah, he's a machine. The game of the weekend, I think, coming up, the last game of Saturday will be Spurs and Liverpool. I can't wait for this one. I really, really can't. Should be just back to Leeds from Manchester just to watch it in time, go into the pub, have a few pints over there. What's a good British beer over there?
I don't know, actually. I usually just
Whatever
drink
they have, I'll just
Stella,
drink
Stella or something.
Yeah, Stella, yeah. Point the wife beater.
Yeah. Should have texted the missus, I'm on the way home.
Yeah, no, she'll be delighted. I'm stuck over there. How do you see this one going? Nervous?
It's not going to be straightforward, I don't think. I think Big Ange will have Spurs set up defensively. To be fair, even though they're at home, he adapts his teams well. The base he's playing against, he adapted the team really well against Arsenal. Still gave up a lot of chances. I just don't know whether Liverpool will be any better at stopping the Spurs counter and the pace than Arsenal were. I don't think they will be. So a high scoring game, whether Liverpool can do enough to nick it or not, I don't know. What I probably will say is I think Liverpool will come away with a draw and be happy enough to go to Spurs, take a draw, knowing they're going to take 4 points off them over the course of the season. So on the back of that, I'm going to say 2-2. And I'm going to back Darwin Núñez to get another one after his beautiful header against West Ham the weekend.
Yeah, he seems to be proving the doubters wrong outside Liverpool. He's knocking in a few goals. I do see it as a high-scoring game because I think Liverpool, as good as they are going forward, they are definitely leaky at the back. And I see Son on form with James Maddison supplying him, getting a couple of goals. So I'm actually going to say I think it's going to be a Spurs win, and I think it's going to be 3-2. And I see Son getting a couple of goals. But
ooh,
how often do we get this shit right?
Bastard, yeah.
Let's go to Sunday. Notts Forest, Brentford. Oh, I see a big 0-0 all over this.
It's like you don't know players read the names.
Yeah. Ivan Toney suspended. I would have picked him.
Yeah. He would have picked him as well. Fucking Paddy Power. Yeah, I wouldn't say wouldn't be frightening. Actually, one thing I meant to say, did you see Thomas Frank last week on Monday Night Football? He was very good about like how he sets his team up to play against top six versus everybody else in the league.
Top coach. Yeah.
Adding the extra man into the centre half positions. They go with a back five. Quality. Don't know what he did at the weekend to fuck it all up to get beaten. But I think they bounced back here. That's exactly what it was. Yeah, Sean Doyle's watching it on pause, recording it, and all writing stuff down.
Yeah.
I think they get back into winning ways. I'm going to say Brentford 1-0, and we'll go with Janssen to score.
Excellent. And the last game of the weekend, which London Derby, will Collie be a happy man? What do you think?
He has to be. They have to be Fulham. Be Fulham.
London Derby?
But like they have to be Fulham. Do you know what it's like? Spoke about like I can't see where Chelsea score either, but I can't see where Fulham get goals from. They've lost Mitrovic. everything has to come through Tom Kearney now. I just don't see where the ball goes afterwards. Has to be the game where Poch bounces back some way, I think. I'm going to back Chelsea. I'm going to say 3-0 Chelsea. And I'm going to go with Jackson to score. But you have to surely, like, what do you think?
Listening to Collie on the chat, and then you saying you've seen a lot on TikTok as well with the supporters. Poch loses this, obviously not gone yet, but in contention to be gone before Christmas. If
100%.
If things don't change drastically, I don't mean like if they lose every single game, but if they're mid-table by Christmas, he's gone, isn't he?
And surely he's in the top 4 most likely managers to be sacked next.
Yeah.
He's got to be in that contention with like Paul Heckenbottom at Sheffield United. Ten Hag. He's fifth. He's fifth. He's not in the top 4. He's fifth. But like those kind of managers, he's got to be floating around there somewhere. So I think 3 points, no matter how it comes by, is the most important thing in this game. If it comes off some fella's cock and goes into the net, I don't think he's going to care. He just wants 3 points out of this game.
Yeah. And look, that's what they need. I think similar to United against Burnley last week, we rode our luck at times. We got the goal, we got the result, and that's what you want. You just want to build that confidence up in the team. And you'd like to think when they start scoring, they might get a few more after that, because they do have the talent, the attacking talent there. They didn't last season, but they do definitely now. But do I see them doing it this weekend or the next Monday, should I say? No, I don't actually. But simply because it's a bit of a derby game, and I see it getting worse before I see it getting better. So I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw, because I think you're right. I think Fulham will find it very hard to score, but I don't think Chelsea will score either. So I'm going to go for not a great way to end the podcast, but yeah, a 0-0.
I mean, it is great. If fucking is 0-0, that's the best way to end the podcast.
True, it's great not having to worry about them, isn't it? Like playing around. Not that I'm saying we're at top 4 yet, but we will be around Christmas time, guaranteed. You heard it here first.
Guaranteed. Yeah. What are we looking at now? Chelsea are 14th on 5 points from 6 games.
It's bad, isn't it? Look, we're not much better. We're about 9th or 8th. 9th, yeah. So it's not great. So I can't really talk too much. But Connor, thank you so much for joining this week. Quite enjoyable without Collie listening to all his Chelsea drivel.
There's a lot less crying going on.
Oh, look.
You obviously won. That's why, because you won, because United won. There's no fucking crying.
True, yeah. Both of our teams won. Yeah. I suppose, your team always wins, so there's not much to say on that. But look, Connor, thanks very much. We'll be back again next week. Everybody, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, give us all those likes and shares and comments and anything you can do. And we will see. What were you saying?
Add us on Bebo as well.
Bebo, yeah, and MySpace, absolutely. I love a bit of MySpace and Pornhub. Give us 5 stars on Pornhub. Collie has an OnlyFans now. That's why he's not here.
I always give him 5 stars.
On that note, see you again next week. Bye.